You know, it's results like this that really differentiate the men from the boys here. Because what the hell is this from City Extra? What is this? And it's not just City Extra, and I don't want to specifically point the finger at them, but are you that rattled? Fantastic organization, I respect the hell out of them. This was a little bit disappointing. Are you that rattled? It's not just City Extra, it's so many promising and prominent Manchester City influencers on Twitter. Some of them that show their faces, some of them that are too cowardly to show their faces. I'm doing the same thing. I'm seeing Pep out. I'm seeing Foden out. I'm seeing sell John Stones in the summer. I'm seeing sell Bernardo Silva. I'm seeing sell Haaland. And most importantly, sell and get rid of Pep Guardiola. I'm seeing all of these wild comments online, and I'm not going to play into that. I'm not going to get super angry here. Just for the sake of it, just for some cheap clicks and views. The other City YouTubers and the other City fans can do that, all right? And they will. They will. It's getting a little bit tiring, if you ask me. But am I mad? Yes, I'm mad, but I'm not utterly furious to yell at you for 10 to 15 minutes straight. First of all, we're going to talk about Arsenal Football Club. One of the most dominant displays against Manchester City in the Premier League this season, from the 55th minute up until the 90th minute. The first half and the first opening 10 minutes of the second half, Arsenal weren't really playing at the ability that I thought they were. The Emirates was really, really quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Nobody was singing. Nobody was chanting. You could use the weather as an excuse, but trust me, when it's the Etihad in the same conditions, nobody uses that as an excuse. And then as soon as Erling Haaland destroyed Saliba in there for that header, then Arsenal woke up and all their players got riled up and they deserve this win. I'm taking nothing for granted. Yes, we had some horrible displays, individual displays, but Arsenal thoroughly deserved this win, and we're going to talk about some of their players here. David Raya, sensational. One of the best goalkeeping displays in the Premier League. It's either him, Matt Sells, or Alisson, in my opinion, for goalkeeper of the season right now. Those three are the best, and nobody else really gets into that category. Maybe Emery Martinez for his World Cup performance, but David Raya was absolutely sensational today. Good shot from Savinho that took a deflection. Good shot from, who else? Was it Haaland or somebody else? Regardless, David Raya had some incredible saves. It was a header from Gabriel. Lewis-Skelly, 18 years old, was absolutely impeccable. One of Arsenal's best players today. Erling Haaland against him is obvious. It's an obvious physical mismatch, but he took it well. The young lad took it well, and he was fighting. He showed heart. He showed grit. Fantastic display by Lewis-Skelly. Saliba and Gabriel, again, this might be unpopular, but I didn't really think that they were sensational today. Saliba got absolutely destroyed by Erling Haaland in the air today. But again, who won the match? Saliba and Gabriel. It wasn't really Arsenal's defense. It was more so David Raya, Lewis-Skelly, and a bit of Jurrien Timber. It's not really their center halves today. I expected more from them, but the fullbacks of Arsenal thoroughly outplayed the center backs of Arsenal today. But regardless, they won the match. Jurrien Timber, oh my word, such an underrated fullback. It's not really about his attacking prowess that I was most impressed by. It was his composure, his ability to make the right decisions mentally. That is what I like in a fullback. In terms of their midfield, hands down the best midfielder for Arsenal today was Thomas Partey. He was absolutely stunning, both defensively and attacking-wise. He was absolutely exquisite. Thomas Partey was winning individual battles against Marmoush early on in the first 10-15 minutes, and he was doing it especially in the late 90th minute. So he was doing it consistently. That pass from Declan Rice to Wanyeri was absolutely excellent. First-time curler. In terms of their forwards, Martinelli I didn't think was that special. Kai Havertz, and again, we're gonna be talking about Kai Havertz because again, yes, I have his troll jersey, and yes, I'm gonna have to fall on my sword because I definitely got humbled here a little bit, not a little bit, a lot. That miss in the opening 10, was it like the 25th or 30th minute? Regardless of when it wasn't really an open goal because Ortega and John Stones was there, but regardless, he should have buried that. But again, a professional football player playing at this level, at that big of a club, he's definitely not going to let the opinions of bozos like me, drown him out and his, down his athletic ability. Great finish with that left foot. Trossard, I thought was really good. He had some explosive dribbles. A bit of a pussy in my opinion, especially with Bernardo Silva. Likes to be on the floor a lot, but again, his dribbles, especially in tight spaces, that impressed me the most. As far as Manchester City goes, Stefan Ortega, that was one of the worst displays I have ever seen from a goalkeeper in the last several years. He should have saved Lewis-Skelly's goal. It was a really powerful shot, but his hand needed to be stronger there. And then was it Wanyeri's goal? He just didn't even dive. He just completely gave up. I would like my goalkeeper to at least dive for the ball, and you didn't dive. You didn't even look like you even gave a shit. That thoroughly pissed me off when I watched it. Stones, Akanji, and Matheus Nunes didn't really have... Well, that's underselling it a little bit. They had very, very terrible displays, all three of them. Akanji, that was a terrible mistake, man. That was an absolutely terrible mistake by a player who's been completely out of his form lately. John Stones was playing some really good passes in the opening 10-15 minutes. And again, it's not. John Stones was obviously the better of the three, no question to be said here, but he wasn't the best defender today. The best defender today was Josko Gvardiol. He was in my opinion, one of our three best players today, especially in that first half. Specifically, Josko Gvardiol was composed on the ball. He was getting into some great positions. Great first-time cross with his left foot from that pass from Foden. We need to do more of that. Erling Haaland should have been there. Somebody else should have been there. Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, it's night and day. Kovacic, I thought, played decent today. Bernardo Silva was horrendous today. Bernardo Silva was really pissing me off with his fouls. He's becoming a very unlikable player in the Premier League. He is reaching Bruno Fernandes levels. I'm not even kidding. I'm speaking as if I was a neutral fan. If I saw an opposing player do that to some of my players, there was one play where Odegaard was just a complete and utter pussy and just fell on the floor from a shoulder to shoulder with Bernardo Silva. That was not a foul. I think the ref called that a foul. That was weak play by Martin Odegaard. Again, not a captain in my opinion. But regardless, Bernardo Silva was honing in on, I think it was Gabriel, Trossard, a couple other players. I think it was Martinelli. And that just shows just the weak mentality that he has whenever we're losing games. Bernardo Silva, I was very disappointed in you. Kovacic, I thought, was very, very good. I know what it's like to play as a midfielder in these tight situations against some heavy opposition, against professionals, semi-professionals, Red Bull's Academy. I was playing as a center mid for a couple of those games, and I know what it's like to have oncoming pressure from 2, 3, 4 players, and Kovacic's ability to make decisions under pressure was exquisite today. Pretty happy with Kovacic, especially in that first half. Savinho, Foden, and Marmoush and Erling Haaland. Foden, I was pretty disappointed in Foden today. There were glimpses of Phil Foden getting the ball and dictating play. I wished he'd done more of that early on. But you all know me. I'm very, very, very harsh on Phil Foden because I expect so much more from him. If I were to give it a numerical value, I'd say like 5 out of 10. I mean, nothing too special. I'm not going to be dumbass Arsenal fan TV and give my player a 0 out of 10 for fucking views and clicks. Those people are boys pretending to be men. They never touched a ball in their lives, and disrespecting a player like that, I'm not going to do that on this channel. Phil Foden was below average compared to what I expected from him. Omar Marmoush, again, this was his real authentic debut in my opinion. Coming to a club like Manchester City at home, I don't really, honestly, this might be controversial. I don't really count that as a debut because we're obviously going to have so much of the possession. The crowd is going to be on, with you for a vast majority of the game. 90% of the Etihad, 50,000. This was a real test of Omar Marmoush's ability. He had a couple of misplaced passes, but he was trying his shots. He was shooting. He was getting into some good positions. He looked like he wanted it. He was one of the few attacking players. He was our only attacking player that actually wanted it right from the get-go. Haaland and Savinho, there's not really too much to be said. Haaland, fantastic goal, beating Saliba in there. Savinho, I thought, was not really getting into the game in the opening 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then he started to get into the game, and then he started to show his quality near the end of that first half, especially in that second half. A fantastic assist with his right foot. Yes, we lost 5-1, but again, I'm just looking at the positives here. We're going to get into the final thoughts of this game. I'm seeing Lewis-Skelly celebrate with that Erling Haaland celebration after his goal. I'm not really going to get on him because he's 18 years old. but this is what Erling Haaland is talking about. It seems that for anybody that's watching that is an Arsenal fan, it seems that you still don't get what Erling Haaland was trying to say all along. You're a team that hasn't won anything yet you're acting like you have Premier League Hall of Famers, world-class players everywhere. You're the best team and you're the best team in the league. The difference is that our 4-1 led to us winning a title. If this 5-1 victory for Arsenal doesn't lead to a title, then it means fuck all in my opinion. I could care less if Gabriel is trying to rile up Erling Haaland, because trust me, on their current trajectories, Erling Haaland in 50 years is going to be remembered as one of the best, if not the best goal scorer that anybody has ever seen. Look at this graphic here of Erling Haaland compared to some of the best players in football history, including Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, quickest player to 250 club goals. I said this with one of my good friends about Mason Mount several years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. Mount versus Foden. And I said to him, in 50 years, the name Mason Mount is going to be forgotten. No one is going to give a shit about Mason Mount for the rest of eternity. But Phil Foden is going to go into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Phil Foden is going to keep on winning because he has the talent. And look what's happened here. Unless Gabriel starts to win anything, his current trajectory is going to be... Gabriel is he was a pretty good center-half at Arsenal. Didn't win anything, but he was pretty good. Arsenal fans thinking that he's the best left-footed center-back in the world. None of them have ever heard of Bastoni, but apparently he's the best. But no, Bastoni plays in Serie A, so he must be shit, right? Because he doesn't play in the Premier League. This 5-1 was an utterly dominant display by Arsenal, and I fully respect them for sticking it to us in this way, because we needed this, because City fans were starting to say that we're back, we're going to go on an 18-20 game win streak. Never going to happen this season. I know this season is not what all of you wanted, but regardless, Arsenal, I take full props to them. I'm taking nothing away from their performance. Yes, some of our players had mistakes, but I'm taking nothing away. Kai Havertz bounced back. He's making me look like a fucking clown. Ranieri, 17, 18 years old, looking absolutely stunning. Lewis-Skelly, 18 years old. Some incredible displays by Arsenal Football Club, players from Arsenal Football Club. Regardless, you got to win that title if you want to chat about, staying humble and all this bullshit. If you keep feeding into it, I promise you it's going to look horrible down the line. You may think that you've rattled a couple of City fans, but regardless, we've been in these situations before, and we are going to bounce back. Hope you all enjoyed that reaction, and I know that some of my YouTubers are Arsenal fans, and for those of you watching, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Congratulations on your win. That was utterly impressive. You put the champions on a spliff here. You just absolutely destroyed us, taking nothing away, even with some of the horrendous performances by some of our players and our defense and our aging midfield. Regardless, you pounced on us. If I were to give you some advice, what you played at from the 55th minute to the 90th minute, do that from the beginning on some of the bigger games coming up, and then you might actually have a chance of winning this league. Because right now, this is Liverpool's title to lose. You still have a long way to go because Liverpool are not dropping points anytime soon. Please don't buy into this Erling Haaland bullshit. I don't know why your fan base is so obsessed with Erling Haaland. Relax. Focus on winning the title. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.